Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Aureden and this is my presentation on functional behavior assessment and functional analysis. So for my intro, I'm going to start with my education, then past employment, and then my current employment, and then my future goals. So I graduated from Eastern Illinois University in 2011 with my undergrad in psychology. After college, I worked as a nanny in downtown Chicago, as I always knew I wanted to work with children. After my experience as a nanny, I decided to pursue my passion to work with children, and I started a position at Children of America where I worked as a lead threes teacher for 3 years. After I stayed home with my first child for 18 months, I decided to get back to work, and that is when I stumbled upon ABA. I started my ABA career working as an RBT at a clinic in an in-home based company back in June of 2019 in Illinois. There I implemented programs pertaining to clients' needs, both long and short-term goals, and DTT was our main teaching strategy. Currently, I work in Denver, Colorado, where I had recently been introduced to the Early Start Denver model, ESDM, where I implement ABA through naturalistic child-led therapy and play. I am in my last semester here at Ball State University, where I plan to receive my master's in applied behavior analysis with an emphasis in autism. My future goals are to be in a school-based setting as a BCBA or as a school counselor. I plan to sit for my BCBA exam once I accrue all of my hours. I have not had any experience with conducting FAs or FBAs. I am currently taking, however, SPCE 610, where I am in the middle of conducting an FBA for a client at my current job. So first off, what is a behavior? In simple terms, behaviors are everywhere. Behaviors are things that occur that can be observed and measured. Cooper et al. 2019 defines the term behavior as human behavior is everything people do, including how they move and what they say, think, and feel. Cooper et al. 2019, page 26. For example, we can observe and take data on how often a child with autism engages in hand flapping, how often a child throws a toy, or how often a child displays SIB, for example, head banging or mouthing. So what is not considered a behavior? For example, if a child with autism says, "I am sad," that would not be considered a behavior. Expressing emotions, whether it is sad, mad, excited, scared, or happy, cannot be measured and or observed. So when should a behavior assessment be conducted? First, what is an FBA? Cooper et al. 2019 define a functional behavior assessment, FBA, as specifically, FBA is designed to obtain information about the purposes, functions a behavior serves for a person. Cooper et al. 2019, page 628. FBAs should be conducted whenever an ongoing or new behavior arises that ultimately affects the person's quality of life. The goal of an FBA is to find out what the targeted behavior is, when it occurs, and how it can be changed so the individual can engage in appropriate behaviors and functionally communicate what they want, how they feel, or what they need in any given time or setting. In our textbook, Cooper et al. 2019 describes their idea behind an FBA and its purpose to changing challenging behaviors. Cooper et al. 2019 stated that the idea behind FBA is that if these reinforcement contingencies can be identified, then interventions can be designed to decrease problem behavior and increase adaptive behavior by altering these contingencies. Cooper et al. 2019, page 629. Okay, so here are some key components of an FBA by Drasgow and Yell in 2001. First, the behavior needs to be identified and clear, observable, and measurable. Then, when and where the behavior occurs needs to be identified. Following, what is the function of the behavior? And then direct ABC data is to be taken. We can see here in Table 1 by Drasgow and Yell, 2001, in Table 1, list these key components of an FBA and examples aligning with those components. Identifying the behavior, when the behavior occurs, consequences that occur after the behavior, and identifying the function of the behavior, and then direct observation to identify how many occurrences during a certain duration of time. So under the key components, a clear description of the problem behavior needs to be identified. Identification of the events, times, and situations that predict when the behavior will and will not occur. Identification of the consequences that maintain the problem behaviors. Development of one or more summary statements or hypothesis that describes the behavior and its functions, and collection of direct observation data. So what are the FBA and FA differences? When should we use either one? Here in figure 27.1 shows a pyramid of what an FBA looks like, and a description is given for each level. Multiple steps are taken during the FBA process. Indirect assessments consist of interviews with parents, caregivers, checklists, rating scales, and questionnaires, Cooper et al. 2019. During the description functional assessment, direct observation and ABC data is taken during this stage to determine exactly when behaviors are occurring and when the antecedent to the behavior is. Cooper et al. 2019. As for functional analysis, FA, Cooper et al. 2019 mentioned that, however, it should be understood that there is no standard FA. Cooper et al. 2019, page 632. Cooper et al. 2019 continues, each test condition contains a motivating operation, MO, and a potential source of reinforcement for problem behavior. The conditions are presented systematically, one at a time, in alternating sequence, and occurrences of problem behavior are recorded during each session. Sessions are repeated to determine the extent to which problem behavior consistently occurs more often under one condition relative to another. Cooper et al. 2019, page 632. Lastly, Cooper et al. 2019 adds the main advantage of an FA, which states, the primary advantage of functional analysis is its ability to yield a clear demonstration of the variable or the variables that influence the occurrence of a problem behavior. Cooper et al. 2019, page 632. So when should we use either an FBA or FA continued? I'm going to talk about ABC data and indirect assessments within an FBA. Here's a sample recording form, ABC chart from our an ABC chart from our textbook. So we have the antecedent, what occurs before the behavior, then the behavior, and then the consequence, what occurs after the behavior. ABC data collection and indirect assessments are used within an FBA. According to Lucelli, 2011, indirect assessments are procedures that are used in the FBA process to help identify antecedents and/or consequences associated with the client's target behavior, but that do not require face-to-face contact with or direct observation of the client. Lucelli, 2011, page 15. When choosing an FBA, Lucelli 2011 mentions that the level of feedback and support should be consistent throughout data collection, with no additional or atypical corrective feedback delivered if discrepancies in treatment procedures are identified. Lucelli 2011, page 20. Within the FBA process, there are more things to consider regarding the ABC chart, and this may determine if an FBA should be used for the client. Lucelli 2011 states, when developing an ABC chart, the operational definition of the behavior should be carefully considered. Lucelli 2011, page 18. Lucelli 2011 adds, such assessments includes variables that may affect motivating operations, potential discriminative stimuli for the occurrence of the behavior, as well as potential precursor behaviors exhibited by the student. Lucelli 2011, page 18. So I work at SOAR Autism Center in Denver, Colorado. The company recently hit their 1-year anniversary of being open to the public. There are 3 locations across the Denver metro area, and we implement naturalistic child-led therapy for our clients. Regarding FBAs and FAs, SOAR Autism Center typically use ABC data collection charts to determine behavioral function. Like I said, I've only been with the company for a short time, for only 3 months, and I have not been able to witness many assessments in action. My coworker was recently working on an assessment called Interview Informed Synthesized Contingency Analysis, or IISCA, that I had only seen for the first time last week. I do, however, have experience with taking ABC data in my past and currently at SOAR. So in conclusion, I feel that I need more experience and training would be great. Yes, so in conclusion, I feel I have learned more about FBAs and FAs throughout my coursework here, more than I have currently learned at my job at SOAR Autism Center. There are things to consider when conducting an FBA that I've been unaware of in the past. I have learned how to prepare questions to ask families and or caregivers during the interview process. I have gotten more practice with ABC data collection, which I have had a lot of experience with before, and more practice with scatterplot data collection, etc. I currently feel that I need a lot more experience with FBAs and FAs in general. I am currently in the process of conducting an FBA, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm almost halfway completed with the process. I am eager to see the results of the FBA that I'm currently working on, and I hope to gain more knowledge on how FBAs are completed from start to finish. I am a person who loves to receive training throughout my experience working in the ABA field. I think it would be great to receive trainings on how to conduct FBAs and FAs to enhance my knowledge on the two assessments. So some questions I have for you all. How many of you have participated in an FBA or FA? What were your biggest challenges of either one during the entire experience? What were the easiest parts of the assessments, if any? And also, what determined using an FBA or an FA to determine behavioral function? I'm very interested to hear any of your experiences with these assessments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and those are my references. Thank you.